Today we're talking about today could completely reshape the balance of power in Major League Baseball. This isn't just another rumor floating around the offseason. This isn't just another depth move. This is the kind of move that changes October. This is the kind of move that sends shockwaves through the National League. We're talking about the possibility of the Los Angeles Dodgers pulling off a blockbuster and bringing in Zac Gallen to create what might be the scariest rotation in baseball. Now let's take a deep breath and really understand what this means. The Los Angeles Dodgers have already built a reputation as the gold standard of roster construction. Year after year, they find ways to stay aggressive, stay creative, and stay ahead of the league. Whether it's developing talent, flipping prospects, or making bold financial commitments, this front office doesn't sit still. And now, with this potential move involving Zac Gallen, they may be preparing to send a message to the rest of the league that the window isn't just open. It's wide open. Zac Gallen has quietly built a reputation as one of the most consistent and dominant right-handers in the game. He's not just a good pitcher, he's a tone setter. He's the kind of arm who can walk into a hostile playoff environment and make a lineup look completely lost. His command, his poise, his ability to limit damage when traffic builds on the bases, that's what separates him from the pack. And imagine pairing that with what the Dodgers already have. Picture a postseason series. Game 1, you're facing a frontline ace. Game 2, another elite arm. Game 3, a former Cy Young winner. And then somewhere in that mix, Zac Gallen stepping onto the mound with that calm, almost cold confidence. Hitters wouldn't get a break. There would be no easy night. No, we'll get them tomorrow. Every single game would feel like a must-survive situation for opposing teams. And that's exactly how the Dodgers want it. What makes this move even more terrifying for the rest of MLB is the Dodgers' ability to maximize pitching. They don't just acquire arms, they optimize them. They tweak mechanics, adjust pitch usage, lean into analytics, and squeeze out every ounce of value. Now imagine what their pitching development infrastructure could do with someone already as polished as Zac Gallen. That's not just scary, that's unfair. But let's talk about why this makes sense from a strategic standpoint. The Dodgers know that October baseball is about pitching depth, not just having one ace, not just having two. It's about having waves. Injuries happen, slumps happen, matchups matter. When you stack multiple top-tier starters, you give yourself flexibility. You protect yourself from the unexpected. You also force opposing managers into impossible decisions. Do you burn your bullpen early? Do you stack your lineup with lefties? Do you sit your struggling star because you know another ace is coming tomorrow? The psychological warfare alone is worth it. And let's be honest, this franchise is built on pressure. The expectations in Los Angeles are sky high every single year. Anything less than a deep postseason run feels like a disappointment. Ownership knows it, the front office knows it, the clubhouse knows it. So when an opportunity arises to add a pitcher of Zac Gallen's caliber, you don't hesitate. You explore it aggressively. Financially, the Dodgers are one of the few teams that can structure a deal creatively enough to make it work. Prospect capital? They've got it. Payroll flexibility? They know how to maneuver it. They've done this dance before, they understand timing. And if they believe that adding Zac Gallen is the difference between contender and overwhelming favorite, they will absolutely push their chips to the center of the table. Now think about how this affects the clubhouse dynamic. Elite players love playing with other elite players. When you stack a rotation like this, it sends a message internally too. It tells the offense, we've got your back. It tells the bullpen, you won't have to carry everything. It builds confidence before the first pitch of the season is even thrown. And let's not ignore the intimidation factor. Baseball players won't always admit it publicly, but they know when they're facing something special. When a lineup sees that schedule and realizes they have to deal with that rotation in a 4-game stretch, it changes preparation. It changes mindset. Some teams start pressing before the series even begins. That's what the Dodgers are potentially building here. A psychological edge before the first inning. Now let's zoom out and look at the National League landscape. There are powerhouses. There are up-and-coming teams. There are aggressive front offices trying to close the gap. But if the Dodgers finalize a move for Zac Gallen, it widens that gap again. it forces other contenders to react. Suddenly, the trade market heats up. Suddenly, rival teams start scrambling for pitching. The ripple effect would be immediate. And this isn't just about the regular season. Sure, 162 games matter. Seeding matters. Division titles matter. But we all know what this is really about. It's about October. It's about those cold nights when every pitch feels like it weighs 100 pounds. It's about neutralizing elite offenses in high-leverage situations. That's where Zac Gallen thrives. Imagine him in a winner-take-all game, working deep into the seventh inning, mixing his fastball and breaking stuff with surgical precision. Imagine the roar of the crowd in Los Angeles as he walks off the mound after stranding runners in scoring position. That's the type of moment the Dodgers are envisioning. And here's the scary part. This wouldn't just be a one-year window. This would be part of a larger blueprint. The Dodgers don't think small. They think in layers. They think about sustainability. They think about maintaining dominance over multiple seasons. Adding Zac Gallen wouldn't just be about one run. It would be about establishing a rotation core that can carry the franchise through multiple postseason battles. There's also the leadership component. Big-time pitchers bring a different energy. They set routines. They influence preparation. Younger pitchers in the clubhouse learn by watching how they handle adversity, how they adjust mid-game, how they study hitters. That trickle-down effect matters more than people realize. And imagine the fan reaction. Dodgers fans are already passionate. They already expect excellence. But adding another frontline starter, that sends ticket demand soaring. That sends social media into a frenzy. That turns every series into must-watch baseball. From a branding standpoint, it reinforces the Dodgers as the destination franchise. The team that's always thinking big. The team that's always willing to invest in winning. That reputation has real power. It helps in future free agency. It helps in negotiations. It builds long-term leverage. Now let's address the risk. Every big move carries it. Pitchers can get hurt. Performance can fluctuate. Prospects traded away could blossom elsewhere. That's the reality of baseball. But the Dodgers operate with calculated aggression. They weigh probabilities. They evaluate durability. They examine biomechanics. They don't make blockbuster moves blindly. And if they believe Zac Gallen is the missing piece, or at least a massive upgrade, they'll trust their evaluation. Picture the postseason rotation announcement. Analysts on national television debating whether this is the deepest rotation of the decade. Opposing managers fielding questions about how they plan to attack it. The narrative would shift from "can the Dodgers win it all" to "who can realistically stop them?" That's a different conversation. And for Dodgers fans who have lived through heartbreak, through early exits, through moments that felt like missed opportunities, this kind of move feels like a statement of intent. It feels like ownership saying, "We're not satisfied, we're not settling, we're going for it." The balance of power in baseball is always evolving. Teams rise, teams fall, windows open and close. But the Dodgers have found a way to keep theirs open year after year. And adding Zac Gallen would be another example of refusing to let that window even start to close. So what happens next? Negotiations, leverage, posturing? Other teams will call. Rumors will swirl. Insiders will speculate. But make no mistake, if the Dodgers are serious about this, they won't be outworked. They'll explore every angle. They'll calculate every scenario. And if it happens, if that deal becomes official, we might look back at this moment as the turning point. The moment the Dodgers transformed a great rotation into a historically intimidating one. So, Dodgers Nation, buckle up. Because if this trade goes through, we're not just talking about adding a pitcher. We're talking about reshaping the MLB landscape. We're talking about creating a rotation that could dominate headlines, dominate lineups, and dominate October. Let me know in the comments right now. Would Zac Gallen make this the scariest rotation in baseball? Would you pull the trigger on a blockbuster deal to make it happen? And if you're excited about the possibility of the Dodgers going all in once again, hit that like button and subscribe. Because if this massive trade becomes reality, you already know we'll be here breaking down every pitch, every inning, and every championship implication. This could be the move that defines the next era of Dodgers baseball. And the rest of the league is watching.